Hi everybody, my name is Robin and welcome to my channel Bird's Eye Stitches. This is a channel about cross stitch, so if you're new here then welcome. Hopefully you are here because you have a love of cross stitch like I do. And if you are returning then still welcome. Clearly you are definitely here because you have a love of cross stitch just like I do. Today, pull out my notebook. Today is Sunday. It is March 29th. I don't even know how we're this far into the year, this far into the month. I did my taxes yesterday. Whoop, whoop. Very exciting. So I feel like when taxes are due, it's like, I don't know, halfway through the year. Taxes are almost due. We're almost there. That blows my mind. Like I feel like it's still January and we're into the end of March. That's okay. Anyway, what have I been up to? So the last video that I filmed was actually not a normal Flosstube video. It was a Flosstube extra in that it was a market haul video. So I showed all of the things from that video. So I've got a few comments to highlight from that one as well as from my standard Flosstube video, which was filmed way back according to my notes on March 7th. Crazy. So, all right, let's start with the couple of comments from the market video. One thing is I asked, if you haven't seen that one, check it out. There is a lot of haul, so if you don't like haul, don't watch the video. If you like haul, there's a whole box. So the winner, well, I asked everyone to vote on what your favorite piece is that I chose during the market, when I was market shopping. There was a lot of things to choose from. But the winner was actually not a bird piece. This was the winner right here. So I just grabbed one of the comments that voted for this one. So Stay Stitching, hi Stay Stitching. Stay Stitching says that a float stole her heart, which I agree. These colors are amazing. Like the sails kind of match my orange shirt today. So a float stole her heart, followed by the Counting Puddles Raven, which actually a lot of people voted for. I pulled that piece as well. So we have a float as number one winner. So I will be starting a float at some point in April. I'm not gonna make it my 25/7 piece because I haven't pulled all the floss that I need for this yet. In fact, I don't even know what it calls for. I won't be purchasing anything for this. I guarantee that I have fabric. And let's just take a little peek here. I'll probably use some specialty floss because some of these sails are quite large and it'd be fun to get some like variegation in there. So I want to take my time in pulling the DMC or whatever I choose for this piece. In fact, what is going on with this chart? Is it one? Ah, there we go. Okay, I couldn't find the color list. So it looks like this calls for all DMC, but I might actually switch out a couple of colors just so I can see some more different colors in the larger areas. So stay tuned for that. The next comment that I wanted to highlight from that video, it's a great lead-in. So the next comment was from Night Fear, I believe is how you pronounce the username. So she really loved the Counting Puddles Raven piece, which I pulled right here. This was actually the cover photo. So this one also got a lot of votes. And I do want to start this year, but maybe for October because of that amazing pumpkin. We'll see. So she wanted to know if this piece would be appropriate to stitch on Aida. There are a number of specialty stitches, which is why it kind of scares me to start this piece. As you can see, there's like some cording and some specialty stitches in there. We'll get there. So she wanted to know if you can stitch this on Aida, because she is predominantly an Aida stitcher, and I am happy to report that the suggested fabric on this is actually a 16 count chalkboard black Aida. So the answer is absolutely yes. You can stitch this on Aida. In fact, this was miraculously stitched on Aida. Look at this moon. It is so bright and so pretty. love it. Another thing from that comment is Night Fear has 152 whips. That is amazing. Goals right there. So I did not click on your name to see if you have a Flosstube, but if you don't, I would love to watch that. That's a lot of whips. That's awesome. The next comment that I wanted to mention did not come from my haul video, but came from my regular Flosstube. So that was Harpy Stitch. She says, well, on that previous video, not the haul, I asked for people who have a Flosstube channel to let me know if they have a Flosstube channel so I can go check it out in case it was someone that I was not already subscribed to. So that was the case for Harpy Stitch. She made a comment that she has a Flosstube. I subscribed and just started watching her most recent video, and it did make me laugh because so I live in Arizona, and where I live in Arizona, we do not do anything with daylight savings times, right? Like, our time stays the same. We don't jump forward, we don't spring back, none of that stuff, which is helpful for me. Harpy Stitch, however, where she lives, they do celebrate, I'll say celebrate, daylight savings time. So she said she went to bed and she felt like when she woke up, she had time traveled. That actually really cracked me up because it's totally true. Like, you go to bed, you wake up, it's a different time, you time travel. So what a great way of looking at things. Beyond that, I just got into watching her most recent video. She's got some great pieces. I will link her below because it was a new channel to me. So if it's new to you, then take a look and see if you like it. And then the last comment that we will bring up before I dive into this pile here was from Stitchin' Mommy. Hi, Stitchin' Mommy. I was just tickled pink that Stitchin' Mommy made a comment on my video. She says she has a channel, and she loved the Shannon Christine tree that I had shown on that video. She said it was stunning and simple, which she's absolutely right. It's just two colors, but the way that they put it together makes it look so much more elaborate than that. And I had to highlight that one because Stitchin' Mommy is someone who I have been watching since I started Flosstube. She, in my mind, is like one of the OGs that I used to watch every single week. Now I feel like I get to hers like once a month because there's just so many, but she is just the kindest person, and her ability to stitch 1/1, unheard of. I mean, she just stitches amazing things. She also is the designer of the temperature tree and a bunch of other temperature pieces that I started, never finished, and will probably never do again, but they're amazing if you can keep up with it. So, all right, that is all the highlights as well as the Flosstube shoutouts. So shoutouts was Harpy Stitch and of course Stitchin' Mommy. Hi guys, I will link them in the comment section. Okay, so it's been a few weeks. I will talk about, I did travel for work. I'll talk about that towards the end if you want to hear about my work travels. So if you don't want to hear my work, or if you don't want to hear about my work travels, you're here for stitching, then we're going to dive into that next. Okay, what did we work on? Actually, take it back. We're going to do haul first because I have one thing and it's on top of this pile. So the only thing I have for haul, because I already have a ginormous box of haul, is this. These are Starbucks enamel pin sets that I found to be extremely cute. I love the pink color and how cute is this little bear. And my husband says he will help me. I haven't done it yet, and I have a number of enamel pins. I know I've showed them before. So I really want to try to make my own needle minders out of enamel pins. He says it's super simple to just clip the little pokey thing off the back, and then I just need to get some magnets. So if you've made your own needle minders, if you could let me know which magnets you get off of Amazon. I looked, there is a lot of choices. I'm sure I can figure it out, but if there's some that you really recommend that are fantastic, let me know. So one item of haul, it's kind of stitch related or will be stitch related when I get to making them into needle minders. Stay tuned for that. Okay, things I worked on. first up, this was my 25/7 piece for the month of March, as well as the piece that got the most love over this last month. Between travel and such, I don't know. I got stitching done, not nearly as much as I wanted to, but I did make some progress here. So this is, pull out the chart for you. This is Silver Creek Samplers on the naughty list. Looks like this. Mine should look fairly similar to this because I'm using the called for everything. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but my husband is in the garage vacuuming the car. When I film, he likes to clean the car. It works for me, works for us. All right, so this is stitched on a piece of 18 count Aida in the color Cornflower. And we are here. Ta-da! So the last time you guys saw this, I had just a little bit of the red done here and part of these words. So this was hundreds of stitches, hundreds. Like, it doesn't look like it, but there was a lot of red. In fact, I did a lot of red stitching, you will see, but lots of red went on in here. So I did both of these legs, and then I finished all but the letter S. I got to a stopping point on that S and I just didn't pull any more green floss, and that's just where we're at. So this will be staying out because this is on my acrostic, and I still have a couple more days for April. So obviously I'll be doing my 25 minutes a day on this, and, oh sorry, for March I mean. But I'll be working on this for the rest of the month, and then it's on my acrostic twice, which we will talk about later in the video for the Magazine Monthly Challenge for the month of April. Coming along really well. I didn't even realize because I feel like I haven't looked closely myself. Like, I've shown this a few times, but I haven't really looked at it myself. So I was feeling like this was like, you know, the bottom, nowhere near the bottom. I've got a whole section of words and paper. I finally get to start in on this dog, which is amazing, but I don't know. I felt like I was stitching the red for so long that I was just happy to have that part be done. I was like, this is the whole piece, 2 feet, and he's remaking a list, the end. Not the end. It's only the beginning. So stay tuned for that. All right, next up that I worked on was actually a finish. So I'll take the picture out first. So this piece I worked on for the March pop-up challenge on the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge on Facebook, which I co-run with my friend Carolyn, Seasick Stitch. Hi, Carolyn. So every month we have an acrostic that has a theme and an acrostic word. And then we also try to do, most months, a pop-up challenge. So the pop-up challenge for March had to do with choosing the piece you were closest to a finish on and getting it done. I believe it was called Spring into Action. So this was the piece I chose. This is Quaker Posies. Mine looks nothing like this. This was from Just Cross Stitch magazine from the spring issue 2025. This. All that I had left on this piece was essentially this corner, this whole corner section here. So I worked on this for Spring into Action. The prompt said you had to stitch on it for 5 hours or 500 stitches. I did my 500 stitches and I was close, but I was not done. Sorry, I'm looking for the colored floss here. Here it is. Okay. So I stitched mine in DMC 347. I had to search my stash because I ran out of the skein. I did have it. This did match exactly. I know with red, sometimes you have to be careful, but we were good to go. So I had 347 on hand and I finished it. So, ta-da! Mine looks like this. It is my first all red piece, and I am going to fully finish it, obviously not yet, but this will be fully finished onto a flat fold. So I will be watching my friend's Flosstube. She just filmed a video. I haven't watched it yet. I say just, it's a few weeks old, but she actually filmed a video where she does a flat fold finish. And she did that partially because, well, number one, she's an amazing finisher. And number two, I had told her that I was a little bit intimidated by the flat fold, but I wanted to learn. So I'm gonna watch that, and I'm going to attempt it with this guy here. Because if this doesn't scream flat fold, I don't know what does. So anyway, for the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, for the pop-up challenge, a lot of challenges there, I had gotten all but like this flower done. So I had done this whole inside, I had done this little flower here, this little doodad there, but I just had this guy left. And by the time I got there, I was so sick of stitching with DMC 347. Like, I was sick of red. Now, it didn't help that I had been stitching the red on the Santa, not in 347, but another red. Pretty much the whole time that I was traveling, the small amount that I did get to stitch, I was stitching that. So I was just over the red. But this turned out beautifully. So I really, really like it. I am not going to wash it because I'm too scared. I don't know. I know it's DMC, but I'm just a little nervous. But it does need to be ironed and all those things. And then I will let you know when I get to the flat fold finish. So this piece, what did I stitch this on? Let's see. This was stitched on a piece of 34 count legacy linen in the color Coconut Macaroon. It's super pretty. This is actually a piece that I got at my local Goodwill. It was a long time ago, but it was like the world's most amazing haul. Somebody had donated a lot of stuff and a lot of fabric. So this was part of it. It came from the Attic. The Attic Needle Workshop is my local LNS. And it had original prices on a lot of this stuff. That was like $50, $60. Not this piece, but I got it for $1.49. So I left a sticker on there. It's amazing. The exciting thing is, now that I have finished that piece, and that was somehow my first finish for 2026. I've got some other things that are very close, but that was my first finish. And so now I get to have a new start. So that is very exciting. Now, if you guys watch Carolyn Zook from Czech Stitch, she is doing the countdown to 50. I am joining her on the countdown to 50. I am 41, so I'll be 42 this year. So I have a little bit of time, but I am not counting anything as a countdown to 50 piece until one, I finish it. My lighting just got very strange. But until one, I finish it, and then two, I fully finish it. So it has to be something that I finish this year and FFO, whether that's framing, flat fold, and I'm doing that because I tend to finish things and then put them in a box, and I want to display things, and I want to get better at finishing things myself. If it's something extremely nice, you know, like a Mira, or, you know, I don't know, something that took me a long time to do, then I will likely have it framed professionally or send it off to a finisher. But the little guys, I'm gonna practice. So countdown to 50. I'm halfway to my first piece. Halfway. All right, the next thing that I worked on was for another magazine. This one was from Just Cross Stitch. This was spring 2026. And I am doing the yearly Sal, which is Tapestry of 12. This is the first issue that has it. It's part 1. Theirs looks like this. You'll be seeing this a lot because I plan, and so far, knock on wood, I am on track, to do 1 square a week. 1 square a week, so you're gonna see this quite a bit. Now, I am not stitching this in the called for colors. I am stitching mine in colors from pieces that I stitched on during that week. So, to be perfectly honest, I should have stitched my next square in that red DMC. However, well, I'll just show you. I'll talk about why I didn't. I will be using that within this block of 12 because, I mean, I used only that color and I got a finish. So I definitely have to make sure that it's represented in this block. But, well, I was sick of stitching in that color and it just really didn't match. It didn't match these other ones. So, yeah. I'm stitching mine on a piece of 18 count Aida from Fox and Rabbit. It is from Garan Stitchery's Fabric of the Month Club in the color Hog Bristle. And mine looks like this. Ta-da! Hopefully this color is coming across okay. I ended up having to film late afternoon just because my morning was extremely busy with my realtor and whatnot. So I've got the overhead lights on. Yeah, but that is fairly true. So that red was so bright, that would have been this piece here. I just really didn't like the way that it laid next to this maroon color. So I didn't use it. Instead, what I used was let me just grab my notes here. Oh, I have the wrong notebook. Anyway, what did I use? I used a Classic Colorworks. It's a blue. I'll have to make sure to bring that list with me on my next video because I think I forgot it last time too. But it's the Classic Colorworks blue from E Pluribus Unum from the Sea of Stars section. I did get some work done on that piece over the last couple weeks. So I chose that blue for this square down here. I think what I'm gonna do is use that red, the red DMC from the piece I just finished. I'm gonna do it in the third row, maybe for this mushroom, so it's next to that dark blue, or maybe the centerpiece. I really thought about going 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and stitching these hearts in that bright red. But again, it just didn't jive with that butterfly. So it is what it is there. Part of the fun of trying to choose a color as you go, but I really like this piece so far. Each piece has like 200 to 300 stitches, roughly, depending on, you know, how filled in it is. And they are really, really fun to stitch. And I love that in the end, I'm gonna have a list of not only, you know, this beautiful piece, but a list of all the different pieces that I stitched on throughout the year to be represented here. So that is that one. I believe that my E Pluribus Unum is with my list. So either I will pause and grab it, or you might see a catch up on the next time. So E Pluribus Unum was on my list for my acrostic this previous month for Magazine Monthly Challenge. So it got 2 hours of stitching. All I got done on that was work in the area of the Sea of Stars, hence the blue. But if it's not in this pile, I will pull it or show you next time. Okay. All right, so like I said, not a ton of stitching. I mean, kind of a lot of time, but just all on the same pieces because I was out of town for quite a while over the last week or so. Let's talk about plans. And within my plans, I'm gonna show you the pieces. So plans for this coming month, I have got to get caught up on my Whip Go. Month 1, I did great. Killed both of those, met the goal. That's where that ended. Like month 1, great, the end. So I really want to get caught up on my Whip Go. I don't know how I'm gonna do that other than I'm not on call at work that much this month. Life is evening just a little bit. So we'll see what happens there. I do know I have a giant acrostic. So Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge. The acrostic is painting. The theme is whimsical. So let's talk about the pieces I'm going to stitch on for that, as well as my 25/7 piece. And I'm gonna sprinkle in my Whip Go pieces as we go. well, as we go for this month. I don't think I pulled them for this pile because I just feel like I'm so far behind that we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, so for 25/7, 25/7 is a Facebook group run by Melanie Watkins, a soulful stitcher who is amazing. And I try to stitch usually on pieces that are a new start or closest to a finish. I'm diverting from that just a little bit because I messaged my friend Megan from MJ Stitches 23. I think that's the right number. I'll link her. She's fabulous. Go watch her. She's amazing. Anyway, I messaged her when I was getting close to being finished with my magazine piece with the Sea of Red. And I told her I was so sick of stitching red. And she said when I finished that I could stitch the hummingbirds where there is basically no red. And she's right, there's like no red in this piece. So I am going to listen to her, and that's what I'm gonna do. I finished that piece, 25/7. It's going to be this beautiful, beautiful chart. This is Monarch Horizons Birds of a Feather. My ex-grandmother-in-law stitched these beautiful birds. I inherited this chart and those birds, and so I'm going to stitch these beautiful birds. This is where I'm at. It's a ginormous piece. What do I want for Christmas this year? One of those cool boards so I can like pin the things on the boards and show them. I need to invest. They're not expensive. Okay, here's where we're at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hummingbirds, halfway done with 6. 25 minutes a day. I won't finish this, but I should get some progress. And it will be a lot of fun, and I think you all will really like watching these birds come to life. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that will be my daily stitch. Next up, the pieces for my theme and my acrostic. I am just hopeful that April is a great stitchy month. All right, so for my theme, all right, the theme is whimsical. I personally like to use a magazine piece for the theme. So that is what I'm doing this month. And mine comes from the Ultimate Cross Stitch Birds magazine. And I'm stitching on Little Helpers, is I believe what it's called in this one. I should have flagged it. Let's see, page 126. So many charts in this book. There it is. Okay, Little Helpers. It's got other names if you find it in other magazines. This is the piece that I started for my birthday last year, and a number of amazing people from the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, they also started stitching this piece. So a number of them were all stitching that piece with me, so it's been really fun to watch that come to life. I am stitching mine with the called for colors on a piece of white Aida because it's somewhat full coverage. And I'm not very far, but I'm gonna get hopefully 4 hours in on this guy and make some progress. So we're there. I chose this piece for whimsical because how cute is it to have birds helping with your laundry? Like, if I could get some birds to help me with my laundry, that would be great. I would fully support that. Next up is the acrostic. So again, the acrostic is painting. It's a long one this month, but that's okay. It gives you time to touch a lot of different projects. And you can use, if you're creative, you can use one pattern for as many of those letters as you want. So for me, P is for porcupine, even though this is actually a hedgehog. I've named it P for porcupine since the beginning. So I'm gonna use Woodland Stitchy Friends. It's the hedgehog, looks like this. And mine, I'm stitching mine in the called for colors, or the called for floss on a completely different background. So mine looks like this. I'm stitching this with a couple of different stitch friends. One of them is Katie, who's Jeremiah's mom. Hi, Katie. We're this far. So this is on my acrostic. Aw, only one time. Why did I feel like there was more than one P in the word painting? I'm not sure, but one time. This is a really fun piece to stitch on. Next up was my major fail from this last month. A is Autumn Flowers, and this was on my acrostic for this previous month, and this is the one that I did not touch. So this is Autumn Flowers by Owl Forest Embroidery. I am still here. I swear I've been here for what feels like eternity, so I need to do this one first. It will one day it will look something like this. Super pretty. I feel mine is prettier because it's always prettier in person, but it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous piece. I just gotta get to work on it. There's so many color changes that if I'm trying to watch TV or something, this one doesn't really come out because, I don't know, I'm lazy with my color changes. But gosh, it's so worth it. So I need to do this one first. The PAI. I is going to be, so if I talked about this before, I have 26 pieces that I'm trying to focus on for 2026. So I assign them all a letter. As I finish one, I'm subbing things out. So my I doesn't sound like an I. It's the Wise Old Witch. And I chose it because it is a monochrome piece, so it's all stitched in one color. So I looks like the number 1, so one color. That's what we're doing. This is the Wise Old Witch by the Little Stitcher. Looks like this. This is another one I started for Mania many moons ago, like 2020. I got like nothing done. I keep pulling it out to work on. It gets no love. So we're gonna give it some love. We're here. That is somewhere in the center of this. Not sure. I'll figure it out. But it's gonna get a little bit of love this month because there's 2 eyes in the word painting. So it should get 4 hours. And I am stitching mine in some purples. So I'm stitching it on a 20 count even weave in the color Lilac Swirl. I don't know who the designer is. It's just, that's the color that's written on the bag. And I am stitching it in DMC 154, which is an extremely deep, like plummy purple. So it's like a very dusty, very light dusty mauve background, and then a real deep purple for the witch. All right, N, there's 2 N's, and for that I'm stitching on the Naughty List, which I already showed you earlier in the video. T is Jack Frost's Tree Farm, so that's exciting. Last time I showed this, I had just finished a square, and so I'll just show you real quick in case you didn't see that video where we're at here. We're here, ta-da! So I'll be starting that next block, and the next block that I'm starting for this is the Balsam Fir. Looks like this. And this one is stitched on a piece of 32 count Belfast from the July 2020 Fabric Club in the color Requiem. And that was from Color and Cotton. I loved their Fabric of the Month Club. I just have so much fabric that I just don't need any more fabric right now. But when I do, I will likely rejoin that one. Okay, that brings me to the last one, which is the letter G. I had assigned this one for G because of the fabric color, which is green, G for green. This is Sweetwing Studios' Far Better Things. I forgot what I had for W. I don't understand how I have a couple of different pieces that all have W's on them. Maybe it was birds, maybe all the birds and their wings. Anyway, Sweet Wing Studio, Far Better Things. Looks like this. This is my New Year, New Start for this year. And it is on a piece of fabric that is greenish. We are here. So, not too bad. At least we have a healthy start on this piece. So, that will be really nice to get some stitches done on, even if it's only for 2 hours. So that is the plan for the acrostics. Okay, that's about it. I had one finish, a few whips, tons of plans. Should be a good stitchy month, in theory. If you're still here, thanks for watching. I'll talk a little bit about my travel. So since I was promoted again at work, and since being promoted, I do a lot more travel for conferences and things like that. We talk about going outside my comfort zone. That is outside my comfort zone. So this most recent one, I was actually traveling to Virginia where I was doing a talk, and I figured it would be a good time to bring my husband along just for a piece of it so we could see Virginia. I'd never been there. So we planned to leave the Friday before the conference. You know, we're gonna get our own hotel, all that stuff. We flew out Friday. We had a layover in, oh, it just jumped right out of my brain. Atlanta. We had a layover in Atlanta. So we flew from Arizona to Atlanta. Then we got on a plane, and then we had to get off the plane because the airports were they were a mess, and I don't know, something was happening in Washington, D.C., and so we had to wait until we had clearance to get back on the plane. We waited in the Atlanta airport for a number of hours, and then around 10 p.m. they finally just canceled the flight. So got stuck in Atlanta at 10 p.m. I got a hotel. Yeah, had to figure it out. There was no other flights on the airline that I was traveling on until like Monday or Tuesday, and my event, the check-in started late Sunday night, and again, I was speaking. So it was either get on a flight and go home, or I was gonna get there extremely late to this event. So luckily my husband was there. If not, I would have probably gotten on a plane, to be honest, and flown home. But he was there, so we ended up, instead of sightseeing for the weekend, we ended up renting a car and driving from Atlanta to Virginia. So it's about 8 hours. We pit stopped in the middle, went to a roadside like petting zoo, you know, tried to make it fun, right? So we did a number of stops along the way. And once I got to Virginia, conference was good. The talk was actually really good. I laugh, I say I didn't throw up, so therefore I was winning. That is true, but it went really well. So that was fun. Trying to fly home, same thing, flights were delayed. You know, the airports are just, there's a lot going on in the airports right now. So I had to buy another ticket to get home because I've been delayed so many times. There was another flight that was open on a different airline, and because my work had already been reimbursed, I was able to get approval to just buy another ticket. It cost less than my original flight. So I've grabbed another airline, had a layover in Denver. That one also got delayed, but at least it was in Denver, which I was comfortable and familiar with because I lived in Colorado, and eventually made it home. So it was a much longer trip than originally expected, but it was a great trip. And I got a lot of red stitching done on all of those flights. So I do have some travel later on this month, but it's a good travel, not work travel. I'll be seeing Carolyn, Seasick Stitch. Hi, Carolyn. We will be at the beach retreat, which is super exciting, at the end of the month. And then I am taking my husband to see Journey. So we have a Journey concert at the far, far end of the month. So 2 back-to-back trips, but those ones will be fun and exciting and with tons of stitching. So that's for a different video. For now, I don't have a giveaway. I don't have a giveaway on this video. I just got caught up. I sent my first 2 giveaways for the year out a little while back. I got the one from my previous video out just a couple of days ago. So I'll be going through my stash and pulling something for the next one. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you want to tell me what you were stitching on, I've been trying to get in the habit of telling others what I'm stitching on when I watch their channels. So I'd love to hear what you are stitching on. And I guess that's it. So 40 minutes, pretty good time considering I only had a handful of pieces I stitched on, but happy stitching, good to see you all. I'm happy to be back, get my normalcy back, and I will see you next week. Bye everybody.